As you say that no one person can change, the whole dynamics of the economy, and that human sovereignty is necessary within this, and it makes me think of the idea of leaders and leadership. What's come into mind for me is a curiosity about you having seen a number of successful long-term restoration projects around the world, in Ethiopia, in Rwanda, in China. What are the skills and facilities that you've seen in the leaders who have helped to bring those about? And, what are the types of relational skills that they have? What are the insights that you've seen?
Well, I think one of the most interesting things is that all of those places had reached the crisis point. Mm-hmm. So the fact that we're reaching the crisis point on a planetary scale in a number of areas, so from toxicity to thermal expansion in the oceans, climate changes, biodiversity loss, food insecurity, loss of fertility in the soils. I mean, all of those things are not now localized. They're pretty much global. When we reach this point of crisis, then you have to decide whether you're going to work to solve the crisis or whether you're going to just descend into a kind of a collapse scenario. And I think we've seen in the last few decades, certainly over really my entire lifetime, we've seen kind of an increase in sort of zombie apocalypse style, dystopic, Mad Max, crazy, toxic landscapes and people killing everything that moves in front of them, heavily armed. And, So this is a type of socialization. This is a myth developing. And it's a tragic myth because in reality, the majority of people are wonderful all over the world. It's a tiny minority who are on the really extreme situations, but they are the loud ones. They're the squeaky wheel. It's a dangerous world that we have from the point of view of the extreme, but the majority is wonderful. So how do we work to create this situation where the majority rules, where the majority thinking and the collective consciousness of humanity leads? Experience tells me that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So there are some people who really want to have power. And if they really want to have power, they really should be disqualified. They're not capable of really being leaders. Mm-hmm. If they want to lead, then they need to acknowledge the equality of everyone. They need to work in the common good. I've been considering this for quite a long time, and I've noticed that the most successful people who have, that I've observed, like Nelson Mandela or Gandhi or Martin Luther King, these kind of leaders, they were able to create enormous change. Or, for instance, Jesus or Buddha, or these type of historical figures. But they also probably get crucified. Mm. And they're able to reach into themselves for something at a higher level, and they sacrifice tremendously. It's not an easy thing to do. So the best case would be selflessness, but it's rather hard to ask people to be Jesus or to be Buddha.
There's a sort of conditions that are created at the point of crisis where things can emerge, that what is called for can be brought forth in that way.
Well, heroic actions are required. And I think that when heroic actions are required, then some people step up. And the other thing that I've noticed is we need extraordinary actions now, and they have to be done by ordinary people. So ordinary people doing extraordinary things, that's heroic, really. That's the answer. So right now I don't really see that our leaders, in many cases, are not really leading. They're seeking power.
Yeah, nor do they consider themselves ordinary people.
Yes, well, that's another problem. So they are trying to differentiate themselves from everyone else, which is not such a good idea.